Hi everyone, this is Adriane Rivka Bernstein. I'm here today to teach you, to show you rather, how I use and prepare aloe. There are many different ways that you can use aloe, and the regular way that we know about of just when you have a small burn or something, breaking off a piece. Let me see if I can get this like that, and you've got a little burn, and you then rub it on yourself, on a sore, on an itchy bite or something like that. However, this method is definitely not advisable if you're going to be making face creams or using it as a food supplement, because there is something in aloe. It's like a latex that runs very yellow. And as we move on with today's lesson, I'm going to tell you more about it. But what I wanted to show you is how the aloes are growing in my home. So over here, I have a really, I can't even call it a balcony because it's enclosed, but on the railing, I have this magnificent species here. Let me see if you can see it over here. And it's really beautiful. She has a lovely thick base, and lots and lots of babies. Over here, what I'm showing you are two that were left inside whilst I was away for almost 2 months, and they're very unhappy. They do need to be outside in natural sunlight and should always be watered from the top, as that's how they would collect their water in the in out in nature. The next the next thing I want to show you, excuse me, is this plant which I brought from outside. You can see that it's really time to be repotted. In order to prepare for today's class, I have already cut off some of the nice chunky leaves, and you will see that this plant is really ready for repotting for a few reasons. The one is that if you're going to be using aloe for harvesting and for making your own products, then you will slowly be cutting off the bottom bits, and that, as you can see, is its support. So you'd either have to support it with a nice stick or repot it, but be careful to wait till these edges over here have dried out. You don't want to get soil or contaminants. You can see that this one over here, that was cut off a long time ago, so it's already dried. Another reason that I'm going to have to be repotting is, believe it or not, this one here probably has in excess of 10 or 12 babies. Some of them are really big, are already growing very beautifully already, but unable to get to their maximum size because they're probably root bound. But if you have a look here alone, I've got 1, 2, 3, behind there's 4, 5, 6. This is a lovely big size here, 7. There's another one stuck in there, 8, 9. So they don't, they're not getting the nutrients and water that you'd like. Unfortunately, because, as I said earlier, I was away, they're slightly neglected. So normally you don't get these very dry ends. They're also not as solid as they should be. You can see that this one is very fleshy, and this is what I'm going to be showing you today, and that is how to cut it. It's very important to cut with a nice, sharp, clean knife. And I will show that to you shortly. Hi, okay. Very sharp knife, and cut as close to the base as you possibly can. And remember, because your plants are outdoors, there's a lot of dust that will have collected, so you want to wash that first. I have my sink right next to it. Give it a wash. You can wash with soap and water. There we go. The next thing you're going to do to ensure that you can bleed out all the yellow latex is, with this sharp knife, just cut off the spines like that. I don't use this very thin tip at the end. Just like this, you just keep cutting this off. And the bowl that I have here is a little bit longer than the piece, so there's no reason why you shouldn't cut it in half. Now you could see that that water was very, very clear, and you will see very quickly that the water starts to turn yellow. I will send you a photograph of what that looks like. As you saw in the picture, this is a basin full of leaves. These were harvested last night, and you can see just how dark the water is here. I just want to bring your attention to the fact that some leaves, let me make sure you see this, don't give off such a pronounced yellow color. And the way to test that you've got everything off is that most of the slime which comes off a newly cut leaf is not present. There you can see a little bit of the gel running onto my hand, and it's not yellow. So basically, if I were to wipe that down really, really well, those would be good for the next step, which I'm about to show you. So I like to keep them in water whilst I'm working with them, and I do need to rinse. Even if it doesn't give off a color, it's very important for you to rinse off that water. So I have run these under water. They're nice and clean, and I'm putting it into the fresh water. And I will now be doing the same with this, emptying this all out. And filling this up. Give it a good shake. Now, you will see that the water is not 100% clear. It's still got a yellow tinge to it. So that means that I'm going to have to give these a few nice rinses and then be able to use them. Whilst the others are soaking off the rest of the yellow sap, I'm going to now show you how I prepare the aloe vera for the next step. You need a clean bowl, and what you want to do is very, very carefully, because you really don't want to waste this beautiful precious gel, is just go under the skin as well as you possibly can, like that, almost like filtering fish, and try and only remove the skin. if you get a good grip on it, it literally peels off like this, and you can see the sticky sap, which this, once it's been soaked, is the stickiness of the aloe vera. So we're going to go like this. Just to show you what it looks like. There's a lot of stickiness. I try not to waste it, and that will go away. And then I do the same with the underneath part. Yeah, just checking to see that this is in the video. Careful, don't cut yourselves, because remember, you're using a really, really, really sharp knife. Once you, as you're working with a piece, dip it in water. And I'll soon reveal to you the very, very precious aloe vera gel, which is such a gift. There we go. I nearly took my tip of my finger off with that. I try and take as much of the peel off as possible. It's a very sticky job, and what I recommend is that if you do or are harvesting aloe vera, then do as much as you can at one go. It freezes very, very well. So you take it like that and just plop it into your clean basin. Okay, so here we go. This is now the fun part after all your work. So you've scraped as much as you possibly can from the skin, and you think that you've basically got everything you can. However, don't waste this precious, precious gel that's on the skin. Give your hands a wonderful mask. Now the difference, once it's been soaked, is if you were to do this with a piece of aloe that hadn't been soaked, your hands will go yellow. You can also use this directly on your face, and you cannot believe how wonderful and smooth my hands feel. It's really a fantastic treatment. So there you go. But I have to just dry off a little bit. I don't want to waste it, to show you what I've harvested. All the work of cutting and slicing and soaking, and now skinning it, filleting it. It really does feel like you're filleting fish. You can see there's a lot of gel here. This is about, I think I've done about 1/3 of the leaves that I cut to prepare. Now, you all have these machines. My family and I call it a Zuzi machine, and I will show you that in the next stage. Right, and here we go. Let me just see this is working. Yes, it is. For our final step, my family have always called this a Zuzi machine. You can see that you do have a little bit of the liquid gel, but it's all in the fillet stage, what I call fillet stage. Don't worry about the tiny little bits of green that are there. You can either take them out afterwards. This is going to be a little bit too thick to use this machine on, so please only use filtered water. I just put a tiny drop in, just like that. Okay, and now I'm going to Zuzi this up and you can see it froths, and you really want to get it all. Okay, I'm not going to talk whilst the machine is working. Isn't that magnificent? Look at that. That's what you pay. Probably this amount would go into about 4 or 5 bottles of what they would call concentrate aloe vera, plus you'd have all the sugars and preservatives added to it. I'm now going to tell you how to use it. Okay, so some tips and tricks how to use this. Firstly, make sure your hands are clean, because you don't want to, excuse me, contaminate your beautiful gel. So this is the gel, pretty sticky. Lots and lots and lots of uses. The first thing a tip I want to give you, a very important tip, is to remember that there are no preservatives. It will not last long, even in your refrigerator. I prefer these types of ice trays to this. Your aloe vera will freeze very, very hard, and it will be difficult to use. For example, if you want to take a cube and put it into a smoothie, you can use it as a smoothie. You can use it in your tea. You can do so many things with it. I learned from Malky how to make a flax hair gel. You can mix it with that. You can mix it with your regular conditioner. So many things. So I prefer to use this to freeze it. Just like this. These are the most fantastic containers. I must admit, I did get them years ago in Israel. And they make like a mini lollipop size, just like this. You would put it in and freeze it, and then what I do is I will then, once it's frozen solid, put it in a Ziploc bag and keep that in the freezer. That's number one. The second thing is you can take a really very good quality cream. This one is in particular. Put it together. My advice is don't make too much, because it will go off. The smell of aloe vera when it's off is, I know this sounds terrible, but is a little bit like vomit. So take a little bit of this. I'd say probably 2/3 cream. It doesn't matter until what you feel good. Mix that together. That makes the most fantastic face cream, body cream, and everything else. I would add a little bit of organic honey to that, as honey is your preservative. So just a quick reminder, basically once you've gone through the trouble of preparing it like this, the uses are endless. Google it, go to Pinterest, YouTube. You will see hundreds and hundreds of uses for this. Good luck.